Has Aurora, Colorado been taken over by Venezuelan gangs? Journey with me for a little bit and let's see for ourselves. Towards the end of August, President Donald Trump made a very bellicose statement on the campaign trail. The president stated that the city of Aurora, Colorado had been overrun by gangs of illegal immigrants, most notably Venezuelan gangs. And almost immediately, just like everything else in America, at least so it seems, the issue was politicized. With one side saying such a thing could never happen, the other side saying it is happening right now. So keeping that in mind, I decided to take a look for myself. With a couple of hours of research, it was pretty easy to tell that the entire city of Aurora, Colorado has not been taken over by Venezuelan gangs. However, there are numerous apartment complexes that have been overrun and taken over by said gangs. Taking a look at an article from Newsweek from September the 2nd of this year, the mayor of Aurora, Colorado, Mike Kaufman, says something very interesting. In the article, the mayor states that he is seeking an emergency court order to quote-unquote free the buildings of organized criminal activity. Direct quote from the article of Mayor Mike Kaufman of Aurora, Colorado. Quote, "I strongly believe the best course of action is to shut these buildings down and make sure this never happens again," unquote. Now, the gang in question is allegedly Tren de Aragua, or TDA. And apparently TDA has overtaken more than one apartment complex in the city. The Newsweek article goes on to say that TDA focuses on human trafficking and other abuses targeting vulnerable migrants. The gang is accused of smuggling women and girls for sexual exploitation. Now, on September the 1st, Aurora police tried to downplay all of these incidents. They stated that gangs had not overtaken apartment complexes throughout the city. Unfortunately for the police, those words directly contradict the words of Aurora's mayor, Mike Kaufman, who just admitted that, yes, indeed, we are clearing out entire complexes in Aurora due to this organized criminal activity, notably by Venezuelan gangs. Now, in another article from the Denver Gazette, which was dated on August the 29th, Mayor Kaufman admitted that several apartment complexes in the northern part of Aurora had been taken over by criminal gangs. And he stated that it was a, quote, nightmare situation, unquote. Now, the mayor went on to say that the entire city had not been overrun and hijacked by these gangs, but yes, several apartment complexes had been taken over. And as such, he was going to request court authority to clear these complexes out completely in order to try and remedy the problem. Unfortunately, the extent of the problem, however, is bigger than any single city. The problem, as most humans in America know, is that the United States is not enforcing its border laws. It is essentially maintaining an open floodgates policy for illegal immigration. And the situation we're seeing in Aurora, Colorado, sadly, is just one of the consequences of said policy. But there is good news. State governments have begun to assert themselves and to say, we're not going to tolerate this egregious lack of law on the U.S. border because it is directly affecting us in the states. Several states have stepped up to try and stem the tide of illegal immigration in their own way. Unfortunately, though, Colorado is not one of those states. They have an extremely weak governor who not only tolerates this continued lawlessness on the U.S. southern border, but actively embraces it as well. So for the folks who are saying the city of Aurora has been taken over by Venezuelan gangs, that is untrue. We can say, though, for a fact that there have been numerous apartment complexes throughout the city that indeed have been taken over by the gang TDA. And as such, the city has come in and has literally cleared entire complexes of all their residents to try and stop that problem. Of course, that policy, as always with any policy, has unintended consequences, one of which being a lot of decent people who are just trying to live their lives are getting tossed out on the street as well. But after all the talk on the campaign trail and the politicalization of this issue, I wanted to take a closer look for myself and see for myself what was going on. Clearly, the entire city has not been hijacked by the TDA gang from Venezuela. Equally as clearly, though, several apartment complexes have been taken over by this gang, and the city is desperately trying to do something, anything they can, to stop the tide of organized criminal activity. And unfortunately for them, with a weak governor and a non-existent federal government on this issue, I don't see things getting better inside Colorado anytime soon. This is Kevin from Texas saying God bless you, and I'll talk to you later.